The night was heavy with silence, broken only by the faint rustle of dry leaves scraping against the ground like whispers of the dead. Elara tightened her shawl around her shoulders as she walked through the narrow path leading to her grandmother's village. She had not returned here in years, but something inside her compelled her to come back on this night, the night of the seventh moon. The villagers always spoke of it in hushed voices, warning travelers never to remain outside when the seventh full moon rose in the sky. It was said to be cursed, a night when shadows stretched too long, voices carried from nowhere, and the dead walked among the living. Elara had dismissed such tales as folklore, stories to keep children from wandering at night. But now, as the cold air pressed against her skin, she began to feel the weight of every word. The moon had already risen, massive and swollen, bathing the landscape in a ghostly silver light. It seemed unnatural, too bright, too close, like an eye watching her every step. Her footsteps quickened until she finally reached the wooden gates of the village. They creaked as if they hadn't been opened in years. Inside, the air was different, thicker, heavier, as if the entire village was holding its breath. Houses lined the narrow dirt road, their shutters drawn tight, not a single lantern lit. No dogs barked, no chickens stirred, no children played. It was a ghost town. Her pulse quickened. She remembered her grandmother's warnings. When the seventh moon rises, lock your doors, cover your mirrors, and do not listen to the voices calling your name. But Elara had nowhere else to go. She was here for answers. Her grandmother had died under mysterious circumstances, her body found outside the village, well on the last seventh moon years ago. No one dared retrieve her body until morning, and even then, whispers followed. She was chosen. Elara needed to know the truth. She reached her grandmother's cottage at the edge of the village. The wooden door creaked as she pushed it open, dust swirling in the air like restless spirits. The scent of dried herbs and old wood filled her nose. Everything looked untouched, bowls stacked neatly, quilts folded, and an old wooden chest sitting in the corner. Her eyes were drawn to the chest. Heart pounding, she opened it. Inside were strange relics. Bundles of dried herbs, a small bone carved with runes, a cracked mirror wrapped in cloth, and an old leather-bound journal. She picked up the journal, her hands trembling as she flipped through its brittle pages. The words inside chilled her blood. The seventh moon is no superstition. It is the night the veil thins. They come for us, those who were taken before, those who should not be seen again. Their voices are sweet, their touch colder than death. To look upon them is to invite them in. To listen is to surrender. To follow is never to return. Elara's breath caught. Her grandmother had not been a superstitious old woman. She had known something terrible. And yet, she had gone out that night. A sudden knock shattered the silence. Elara froze, her heart thundering. Who would knock on a night like this? Slowly, she approached the door. Another knock, louder this time, followed by a soft voice, her grandmother's voice. Elara, child, opened the door. Her blood ran cold. Her grandmother was dead. The voice grew more insistent, trembling with emotion. It's so cold out here, child. Please let me in. Elara stumbled back, covering her ears. The journal's words echoed in her mind. Do not listen to the voices calling your name. She clenched her fists, forcing herself to remain still. But the voice was so familiar, so warm, so desperate. Tears welled in her eyes. You're not her, she whispered. The knocking stopped. Silence stretched, heavy and unbearable. Then came the sound of nails, long, sharp nails, scraping against the wood. A low, guttural growl replaced the sweet voice, sending shivers down her spine. Elara backed away until she collided with the chest, her trembling hands clutching the carved bone from inside. The scratching stopped, but something else began. The mirror wrapped in cloth began to hum, a faint vibration pulsing through the air. Against her better judgment, Elara unwrapped it. The cracked surface reflected not her own face, but a dark field, endless and shifting with shadows. Figures moved within it, pale and distorted, their mouths open in silent screams. Her grandmother's face appeared in the mirror. Come to me, Elara. Don't be afraid. Elara nearly dropped the mirror. Her grandmother's face was wrong. Her eyes were empty voids, her smile stretched too wide. The figures behind her reached forward, pressing against the glass as though trying to break through. The journal slipped from her lap, falling open to a page marked with red ink. On the 7th moon, destroy the mirror. It is the gate. If you fail, they will come through. The house shook as the front door burst open. A gust of icy wind extinguished the lone candle she had lit, plunging the room into darkness. From the doorway, she saw them, figures too thin, too long, their limbs bending at unnatural angles. Their eyes glowed faintly in the moonlight, locked on her. Elara screamed and hurled the mirror to the ground. It shattered with a sound like breaking bones. A deafening wail filled the room as black smoke erupted from the shards, swirling like a storm. The creatures at the door shrieked, their bodies collapsing into ash as the smoke consumed them. But the mirror's pull was too strong. The shards on the ground swirled into a vortex, dragging everything toward it, chairs, books, dust, even the chest. Elara clung to the edge of the wooden table, her fingers bleeding as splinters dug into her skin. The pull grew stronger. Her body lifted off the ground. "No!" she screamed, reaching for anything to hold on to. But her grip slipped, and she was pulled into the vortex. She fell into darkness. When she opened her eyes, she was standing in the field she had seen in the mirror. The moon above was enormous, blotting out the stars. All around her, pale figures wandered aimlessly, their eyes vacant, their mouths whispering incoherent words. Among them, she saw her grandmother. "Elara," the figure whispered, her arms outstretched. Elara shook her head, tears streaming down her face. "This isn't real. You're not her." But the figures began to close in, their whispers growing louder, overlapping until they became screams. The ground beneath her feet cracked, glowing with crimson light. She tried to run, but every direction was the same endless void. And then she understood. There was no escape. The 7th moon had claimed her. Back in the village, the wind stilled. The cottage was silent once more. The shattered mirror was gone, leaving only a dark stain on the floorboards. The moon hung heavy in the sky, and the villagers, locked inside their homes, whispered to themselves in fear. Another soul had been taken, as it always had, as it always would. The curse of the 7th moon would never end.